This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, fantasy book fans? This is Steven, your host with Fantology Podcast, and we have a special, all five of us, plus one special guest if you watch closely on the YouTube video. And we have a special episode for you. We're going to do our best of 2023 book slash movie, TV, kind of fantasy, science fiction, media in general. So we have a few different categories we're going to go through, and we're each going to tell you why the things that we loved were the best in 2023.
Nice. I'm excited. It's been too long since we've done one of these, and I feel like the ending of the year is always ripe. I always like watching other YouTubers and podcasts do these sorts of things, so I'm excited to get into it with you guys. I think the way we set it up today is a good way to do it. I think we're going to have some interesting conversations here.
A nice tease, Josh.
Yeah.
Can I just say one interesting development of this past year has been that every member of Fantology, except for Steven, has had a baby.
Baby boy.
Baby boy.
He would kind of represent.
I'm letting us down.
No, you're not letting us down.
Not reproducing enough.
No, Steven, you're the Fantology bachelor. Okay. You gotta represent that demographic.
We live vicariously through you and your book collecting.
That's true. I think all of us have wives that would
not
be
this barren background.
You have children, I have books. Let the listeners decide which is better. All right, so what we're going to do is do our best science fiction fantasy book published in 2023, our best science fiction fantasy TV/movie from 2023, then the best science fiction fantasy book you read this year. So it doesn't necessarily need to be published in 23, just kind of like a Fantology awards for what we happened to read this year. And then final category is the best SFF character in 2023 in any media, books, TV, movie, games, whatever. Just best magical or science fictional character out there that you lived vicariously through this year.
Nice. Yeah.
So are we going to go through each of these like one by one? So we present the first category and then all of us give our answers. And then we go to the second one.
Yeah, let's do it by category. Like that will promote a little better discussion. Otherwise, we're just going to be bouncing back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, I like that.
So top of the list is best book published in 2023. And I said science fiction and fantasy. So, I mean, usually we cover fantasy. That's maybe because selfishly I like fantasy more than science fiction, but I know we don't all hold that opinion quite as much. So if you want to do science fiction, you are welcome to. But this is publication in the year 2023. And we'll do honorable mentions at the end. Usually when we do these things, we do like top 3 or top 5 or whatever. So just do one and then we'll do like a whole empty the notebooks honorable mention thing at the end.
Nice.
Cool. I'm going to go last because I don't think I read any book that was published this year other than The Great Change and other lies.
Did you not read any of the secret projects?
No, I didn't do the secret project thing.
Me neither.
Nice.
High five, Jake. I mean, not that I was like avoiding them intentionally, but it wasn't really.
I didn't do the subscription thing, and then it felt like it was a little more difficult than normal to get the book if you didn't do the subscription. Like by the time it was available for us plebes.
I don't know, man. You can just get it from the library or buy the ebook like any other book.
Yeah, but by the time you could do that, people were done talking about the book because everyone talked about it when it came out, when they got it through the subscription thing, which was like a month earlier.
I think the real question here is why you didn't just do the subscription. It was like $70 for 4 ebooks and audiobooks.
Yeah, I don't know.
I remember when it came out, I was a little bit more
Didn't seem worth it.
financially strapped at the time, so that's why I didn't do it then.
Yeah, we're not all living your upper class lifestyle,
Ben with
Ben.
his
here we
upper
go.
class $70 privilege life
It's
over
nothing.
Acting like, yeah.
And I'm not saying we would ever do this, but like we could have, shared in the goodness, like with files.
Whoa, Fantology does not condone pirating of
No.
any kind.
No, it doesn't. But for the podcast, it's a business.
But
It's a
Ben
business sharing.
does.
I think Fantology
Yeah.
as a podcast has promoted enough sales of Sanderson books
Yeah,
that this would
yeah.
be,
No, honestly,
we're-
like you're kind of
we're
joking, but,
entitled.
like
Yeah.
that. I know. I feel like that's legit. Like we can share books amongst ourselves because we promote them for free.
yeah. I mean, authors share books with us through NetGalley all the time. So
Yeah.
just saying. Anyway, but that's good. I mean, you guys should definitely read them though. It ranges from really, really good to kind of mid. But
Well, you should
that's
read
what you
three.
expect.
You should read 3 of the 4 of them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
there's a
plan
lot-
on it. I plan on it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, and especially the 4th secret project. I mean, that has some Cosmere lore that you need to.
Oh yeah,
The Sunlit Man.
Yeah, the Sunlit Man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you were like maintaining your.
No, Ben.
didn't want to know.
If Jake's not going to read them, he doesn't care about this title.
That's
No,
true.
I'm gonna read them.
No,
I didn't say I wasn't going to read
Sorry,
them.
sorry. I phrased that wrong. It's just there is a contingent of people that thought that the titles would be a spoiler for them.
Oh,
So I'm saying
at
if
this
you're
point,
not
yeah.
going to read them when they come out,
Titles
then
aren't spoilers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
I'm sorry for
Anyways,
being
all that to
sympathetic.
say, I would prefer to go last on this because, and maybe Ryan as well. I don't think I read anything that was published this year, which is
I did.
abnormal for me.
So
Okay.
Can we also just point out if you're watching on YouTube that Ryan and Jake are more of a twin than like me and Josh right now? Like they both have the
I don't
same
know about
color
that.
shirts on, they got the long hair, they got the beard, and they both didn't read The Year Sanderson. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Twins.
Okay, so
Drift compatible.
that bantering aside, who's going to start us off?
I'll start us off for this one.
All right, do it because you're going to steal the one that I'm going to say.
All right. Well, that means it's just doubly good if we both say it. So, my pick for the best science fiction fantasy book published in 2023 is The Will of the Many by James Islington, which was a phenomenal read. Lots of people recommended it to me beforehand. I think that it lived up to the hype. In my case, it just shows that not only did James Islington have a strong start with the Lycanius trilogy as an author, but he's continuing that momentum and even I think on an upward trajectory. I thought maybe a bit naively that this would for sure win Goodreads 2023 like the best fantasy book, but it was I think that had the second lowest amount of votes in the category, which I realized that maybe James Islington isn't as popular an author as maybe I feel he deserves to be. But if you
Did the
haven't
voting
heard of
finish?
him, what?
Did the voting
Yeah,
finish?
the voting's finished. They've listed the
which book-
winners.
Which book did win?
It was a book
Yep.
I hadn't heard of.
So
But-
best fiction. I pulled it up right now. Best fiction was Yellowface, which I just finished reading today actually.
All right, let's
But,
just
I
mean,
skip
that's-
to
that-
fantasy.
Yeah, that's not the science fiction fantasy
Best-
category.
be-
Although
best
R.F.
fan-
Kuang does write fantasy.
Yeah, best fantasy was Hellbent by Lee Bardugo, which we should probably read.
I
oh,
feel
it's,
never
we
heard of
forget
that.
it's the sequel
Well,
to Ninth House. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
Le
that.
Bardugo is really big. I feel like we sometimes forget that there's a whole contingent of people that don't necessarily read epic fantasy, but do like fantasy.
Yeah.
If it's not epic, what's the point?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Best
Exactly.
Best Horror Holly by Stephen King one. I need to finish that. Best Romantasy, Fourth Wing.
All right. Well, this is we can
There's
do a
some
whole.
shade in that.
So
Fourth Wing-
that
was
leads
Fourth Wing
that
2023.
I'm just gonna say that leads me into
Yeah, it
my
was.
best pick of 2023.
Don't you dare. I'm not
be
going to say
freaking
it's
there.
Fourth Wing, but I'm saying a combination of Fourth Wing and oh crap, what's the second name of the second
Doesn't
book?
even remember the name of the book.
Wow.
This is
Iron
fake.
That is
Flame,
trolling here.
man.
This
I
is-
was thinking
Iron
about
Flame.
trolling this.
Fake.
I was thinking
I'm
about
not-
trolling, but
No, here's the thing though.
this is a
Ben,
troll.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
not gonna say it's Fourth
Troll.
Wing, and then continues to say Fourth Wing and can't
No.
remember the second
I'm
one.
saying you gotta.
Yeah,
you
what
gotta let
is
me
this,
finish.
Ben?
You gotta let me finish. First of all, having 2 books come out in the same year is impressive, no matter who you are. I mean, if you're Sanderson, sure you do 4 books, but 2 books both in 2023. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. Second of all, what it's done for the science fiction fantasy genre, I think is pretty impressive. Like romantasy, I'm not going to say it's exactly right up my alley, but I'm all for expanding the tent of people that enjoy stories. So I think that people who are being exposed to these romantasy books for the first time through authors like Sarah J. Maas and oh my gosh, what
Rebecca
and
Yarros.
Rebecca Yarros. Yep. Those are people I'm willing to welcome into our fold. So I'm just gonna say.
So are you choosing a book to welcome into the fold of 2023? Are you considering the best science fiction fantasy book of 2023 to be the best marketing book for science fiction and fantasy?
How
for
are you defining
2023,
best
or-
book here?
Or just
Yeah.
the biggest book on Book Talk?
I
or
can
what?
see being
Yeah.
happy that
not-
these
not
books are
biggest book.
written.
First of all, I have my issues with both of these books. See our review for Fourth Wing, and we're getting the review for Iron Flame lined up. I have my issues, but these are fun books to read. They have interesting characters, interesting plots. They're both thick books that both came out in 2023, so it's a big accomplishment, I think. So when you say best book, it's certainly not my favorite book, and it's certainly not, I think, technically the best book. But I think that when you combine the fact that we had like 2 books come out that were both good quality that expanded the tent for SFF, I'm going to stand by that. It's
Looking at Josh
in
right now.
combination, it's the best.
I
This is all-
think
I'm gonna
that
have to
Ben's
mute
answer
myself
is
right now.
disqualified.
Yeah, Ben,
Your
just
own
say it was your
prodigy
favorite book.
disagrees with you.
If you think it's the best book, say it's the best book. Don't hedge your justifications
He
here.
knows it's not the best book. That's why he can't say that.
Based on a very complicated criteria, it is the best book.
I stand by what I said. You guys can say what your best books are, and I won't disagree with them.
Okay, but we're moving on from this, acknowledging that Ben thinks it is the best book of 2023.
I will say I was going to say Will of the Many, but I recognize
Yeah,
that both Ryan and Steven
We
and
could
Josh are
all
probably
say
gonna
Will
that.
of the Many.
are you gonna die on that hill, Ben? That you think
It's a hill
the two
that
best
I'm willing
books?
to build up and stand on. I don't know if I'll die on it.
I have
think-
no skin in the game, having never read the book, but I just want you to commit to saying whether you think it's the best book or not.
I know that you're just going to use these words at some future point to drive home some random point that I won't even see coming.
Okay, Ben's real answer was the will of the many, but he was trying to get creative. Okay, all right.
So I'll go. And the best book of 2023 was The Will of the Many.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I think that's pretty well, it was just an awesome book. Okay. And we've all talked about it, so I'm not gonna really drive it home too much. I think my second favorite book, because I know Ryan and Jake, or I know Steven's gonna do Will of the Many as well. But I think my second favorite book was Yumi. I really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the characters. I thought that Yumi was really creative. I think that the ending could have been better, but I really enjoyed the world. I thought it was some classic Sanderson world building that I really enjoyed. And both worlds that it took place on, or both settings, I should say. And just overall, I thought it was not a return to form for Sanderson, because he's never really he's just kind of improved as an author, I think. But I do miss kind of the days of Warbreaker and Elantris, where we got these kind of standalone-ish novels that took place in these cool worlds. And I think that this one would be a cool starting point for a lot of people for Sanderson, or a good place where if you're not super deep in Cosmere lore, you can still read it and enjoy it. So that's my second place pick, but I wanted to talk about it because I know The Will of Money is going to get a lot of love.
I think it says a lot that the Will of the Many for you has beaten all of the Sanderson secret projects. And for me, it beat Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, which is the most recent book in Red Rising, which I really liked and I think is a great book. So
And Ryan, I thought I remembered that when we did our review of Will of the Many, I thought you said you liked Lightbringer a little bit more, or maybe they're just really close and you kind of have gone back and forth.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I changed my mind. Maybe I'm a fickle person.
Well, I think that part of it is like the time that you spend away from a book does really inform your opinion, right? So like
A little technical difficulty there. We lost Josh. He may rejoin us, but let me just continue with mine. So yeah, my favorite was also The Will of the Many. To highlight another one, I mean another one I liked. I was gonna say my second favorite was also Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, the Sanderson book, but that's taken as well. So two others that I read this year and enjoyed were The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft and Words of Kings and Prophets by Shauna Lawless. And Hexologist was, I think there's reasons why people might bounce off this book. It's like very wordy and witty and clever, and sometimes like too much almost. And if you just want a story, you may not love that, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And Shauna's sequel was quite good. And she has the conclusion to that trilogy, the Gale Song trilogy, coming out next year, even. So that's a series to keep on following.
yeah, I agree. I think you identified me perfectly for The Hexologist, Stephen, because when I was reading it, I got maybe a quarter of the way through it. And when I still plan on finishing it at some point, but when I was reading it, it felt like I was enjoying it, but it was almost a chore to read because I didn't want to miss the funniness of it. But it was also like I had to really, pay attention. I couldn't just like kind of speed read or gloss over it, right? So, and it's not like it has, at least at the point where I was at, it's not like it had a super fast paced or engaging plot. It was kind of meandering a little bit. Like it was almost like just like scenes that they would jump between. So I don't know. That's kind of, I don't know. It's a mixed review, right? Because I think that the dialogue and the actual prose is super good, but it also was like the reason I bounced off the book because I didn't want to like listen to it on 2x speed, and I didn't want to just miss out on it by speed reading it.
Right. Yeah, it's a book that, you have to enjoy that type of writing and you have to be able to commit to really focusing on it enough to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of get lost. Yeah.
So do you think if you like the Books of Babel, you'll like Hexologists?
It's a little more indulgent in the writing. And when I say writing, I just mean like getting kind of deep into the dictionary and being very clever with all the wordplay. So as far as like, it still has kind of the same like absurdist feel to it, but requires maybe a bit more focus to completely get through the whole story. I don't know if that really gives you, I'll say yes, you probably will.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But again, I think all my comments still stand. I think Books of Babel were very like their plot was pretty fast paced compared to Hexologist, at least for my like quarter of the way through the book. So
Not finished Hexologist?
What?
Did you DNF the Hexologist?
I am planning on effing it, but I have not done so yet.
Okay. All right. We will come back, Josh, with that.
He's mid-F.
That great one. Okay, Jake, with all of that build up,
Yeah,
are you
I
going to
will
tell us something
say
about 2023?
I did realize I also read The Narrow Path Between Desires.
Oh, dang, that's a
Narrow
good
Road Between Desires, which was really good, but it was just a novella.
So, well, then your choices are between a novella and a series of short stories.
Yeah, out of those two, I would say, is it Path or Road? I keep saying the wrong one.
It's the narrow
narrow-
road between desires.
The narrow road between desires. I really liked it. It was great to get Patrick Rothfuss prose once again, and it was a really cool look into like exploration, expansion of the world, and getting to know Bass more. But I don't know if it really holds up to like all these other releases. I will say, after hearing your non-spoiler review of Will of the Mini, it made me want to read it. But then I was like, oh, I never actually finished Lycanius trilogy. So then I
Did you
reread
not?
all so I reread all of Lycanius this year in preparation for Will of the Mini. I know they're not connected, but just I wanted to finish that out. But then I never got to Will of the Mini. And then also
Okay.
I'm realizing I should have gotten to Lightbringer this year, but Iron Gold took so long, took so much out of me. Yeah. Anyways,
Dang. So Jake effed Lycanius, but he couldn't.
You're committed to that one, Ben.
yeah,
I-
I didn't even
he's,
S.
he's not
Will of
he's
the
not
Mini.
committed
Yeah.
enough to fully F it, but he's gonna.
No,
So-
I effed it.
He did
Completely
F
effed it.
Lycanius, but he didn't even.
I went all the way.
Okay,
So-
continuing forward. So let's talk about our best TV/movie.
Wait,
Okay.
did we talk about the best our favorite book that we read this year, or just
No,
No,
that is
just movie
coming
next.
up next.
okay? We
That's
got
coming up next. The first category.
Yeah, we got.
The first
yeah,
category
yeah.
was too slow. Got to keep moving.
I can start
so-
with this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the D&D movie, kind of quintessential fantasy
Oh,
right
that's a
there.
good movie.
Also
right.
watched it the night before Jonas was born, so that was a very memorable experience. Going to see that movie and then waking up a few hours later. So yeah,
Hey, you always remember the D&D movie for that
I'm
reason.
always gonna remember that. Yeah. So
That's a great movie. I watched that movie while I was riding my road bike, like stationary road bike, and it was an interesting mix of emotions because I was like laughing.
Before you
while
said
sweating.
stationary, I was very confused.
No, yeah.
it's like so I'm going to go unironically with Wheel of Time season 2. I think it was this is similar, like hedging to Ben, to where it was a big relief for me how big of a step up it was from season 1. I think I agree with most of the criticism for the final episode. I think that the first couple episodes really hold up, and I think that they don't get talked to, like they got a lot of buzz, but then people kind of stopped talking about them. But I think my favorite was like when oh geez. Anyway,
another
whole Egwene,
my
Egwene plotline.
not
Egwene was
Egwene,
great.
Nynaeve. Sorry, Nynaeve. When Nynaeve went through the pillars
Archers.
and or archers and had her whole test, I think that was really creative and really well done.
Okay.
I think that
I thought you were gonna say your favorite scene was land peeing on a tree.
land peeing on a tree was probably the low point of the season, but Lanfear was a great high of the season. I think that they're really building out the Forsaken even better than they were during the first couple books. I think that there's a lot to really like, and I'm glad that season 2 was made and was good.
Yeah, man.
Okay, to give a little pushback, you're saying you thought season 2 of Wheel of Time was better than Guardians of the Galaxy, the D&D movie, Across the Spider-Verse, like these other science fiction fantasy.
I never saw Across the Universe. I think unironically it is better than
Across the Spider-Verse.
than
Across the
Guardians.
Spider-Verse.
You
think it?
Across
Okay,
the
you think
universe
it's
is a
better.
different
Josh
movie.
was-
sorry, not Guardians. Than D&D. Guardians, I think was I really like Guardians, but Guardians, like the first 2 movies were really good, so it didn't surprise me that the third one was really good. You know what I mean? Whereas Wheel of Time was very pleasantly surprising to me. So I think it's
So your
My
best pick is the one that
expectations
surprised you the most.
yeah that my
Jake
expectations.
is really holding
No,
Yeah.
Ben and
I'm
Josh's
just saying,
feet to the
are we
fire.
doing
Yeah.
the definitions?
You know
the
what,
way-
Jake?
The
If we had
best-
only like read
Yeah.
one book to choose from, then our job would be easy too. Okay.
Jake,
Josh
we
was
will
just-
pander.
Josh was
Don't-
really Josh was
Touche.
really
Stop
here
it.
for Lanfear risen up Rand, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, no, I'm fine with him picking it as long as he's actually
No.
following the definition.
Man, nobody even comments on my Gen Z's words. Okay.
Riz,
To keep this moving along.
It's because I don't know Gen Z words, man. But yeah, let's hear yours.
My best TV show, which should be everybody's best TV show, is Silo. from this year.
Yeah,
So
I
it
didn't
was
see that.
great.
I heard a lot about it though.
Yeah,
Super
I need
good.
to see that.
Super good. It made me read all the books after watching the TV show. I thought the
Oh,
TV
cool.
show was a really cool mixture between keeping the heart of the books and really adding a lot to the world and expanding it. It did a really good job of incorporating elements from the whole entire series to make a compelling season 1. It made some changes where it needed to. Anyway, it is like a case study on how you should adapt a book into a TV series, and it was amazing. So, and I'm super excited because the actress from that is the star of the Joe Abercrombie book that's being made into a movie.
Best
So,
served
yeah.
cold.
best,
Best
better
Rebecca,
Rebecca
and Rebecca
Ferguson.
Ferguson
Best
to
Rebecca.
fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Lady Jessica.
Sorry, but anyway, super good. So there's my pick, and I will not take any pushback.
No
No,
questions.
it's a
None
good pick.
warranted.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a good pick. Ryan, what's yours?
I am going to go with The Last of Us.
Oh,
Was that 2023?
Oh,
That
Yeah,
was
it's beginning of
2022,
the year.
wasn't it?
wow.
It was,
No, that was
not
2022.
No, it was beginning of the year.
Really? Okay, dang.
not only
I can't
was
stand by
it
Wheel of Time anymore.
my pick
Yeah, no,
for
you
this.
can't.
I think it's one of the best adaptations of all time. It did it in such a way that, it expanded on the video games in a way that I think appeased fans of, the video games. So I mean, it's amazing, really. Like, I think a lot of the themes in it are very compelling. It goes past, just the typical like zombie genre that has just been done and overdone at this point. It's almost like a work of art.
yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it really is. What was it, episode 3 or 4?
3.
Yeah.
3, like that
The Nick Offerman
alone.
one.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
episode alone, I think was probably the best episode of TV this year from
Yeah.
anything I saw.
It's true. I loved it, and I don't want to do any spoilers, but I loved it right up until like the final few scenes of the last episode. I thought that.
Well, that's apparently how the game is.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the story. That's the story, man.
That's the story.
It
Okay.
it is
Did
a
you-
difficult ending, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, no pushback either. That's a good pick, Ryan.
Dang,
Nice
it came
pick,
out
Ryan.
January
You've-
15th.
You've
Yeah.
astounded us, and
You-
you've astounded Josh's timeline.
Yeah,
He could not. He was flabbergasted. He could not believe it.
Utterly
Me
flabbergasted.
too. Me too. I thought that was last year for sure.
There was a lot of good TV and movies from 2023, which is good because,
Yeah.
the next year or two, it might be a little dry with everything that, all the other TV movie stuff that happened this year. I liked your guys' picks. I'm going to go with The Witcher season 3. Just kidding.
No. Okay.
It was,
I was like,
although
I was like,
didn't hate
okay,
it.
Wheel of Time is pushing
hate
it.
it. I didn't hate it as much as others, but it was just okay. Anyway, the one that I am gonna choose, I'm gonna go with the Creator, the movie. Did you guys see that?
No,
I
I want
didn't.
to.
Wait, is that's
yeah.
not? Oh, yeah, we're not talking about adaptations. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was just like an original movie. I liked it quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to see that one.
I thought that the trailer looked very interesting for it. So
Yeah,
is there
Yeah.
any chance that Rebel Moon comes out as the best science fiction?
it's coming
fantasy?
out this weekend at time of recording.
that it beats
And-
The Last of Us? No, there's no chance.
You don't think it could?
No.
Maybe.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I really don't know what to expect.
I
though.
think it'll be I think it could be good, could be great. Do I think it'll beat The Last of Us? No.
Ridley Scott. It's Ridley Scott, right? No, it's not. It's Zack Snyder. Never mind. What was I thinking? Ridley Scott.
Both of those are pretty hit or miss for me, honestly. Zack Snyder and Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I'm just.
Some
Ridley
really-
Scott has made some amazing movies, though. Zack Snyder has
Yeah.
just made some fun movies. I don't know if anything has been amazing that I've seen from him.
Well, Ridley Scott has like amazing ideas, and they're not always executed well. And then Zack Snyder has like amazing visuals, but
So
not
imagine
always
if we
with
could
great
combine
plot.
them.
It's the best of both.
That's
although
Christopher
their
Nolan.
styles are so different.
That's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
No, that's M. Night
Um,
Shyamalan. Just kidding.
Can I just say I just finished Gen V, which is
Oh, that's a good
one.
Amazon Prime
Yeah.
show in the Boys universe. and I was not expecting to like it that much. I thought it was
Yeah, it was
really
really
good,
It was
and
super
it
good.
shows how great, well crafted that they've made that world on screen and TV. Um, and even though most of the characters are new, I thought that just the themes were still good, and I liked watching it a lot too.
Also throwing it out there, Invincible season 2 has been really good.
Yeah. Those are both things that I've
Although
been
only
meaning
half
to watch.
this year, so you can
Yeah.
only half like it.
Oh, really? Invincible? It's only half?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
taking
there's a break and they're doing the next
Mm.
4 beginning of next year.
Interesting.
Okay,
I
let's
watched
go
this
forward.
real fast. I watched this
Okay, Ben.
YouTube video called "The Marvelization of Cinema," and in it he talks about like I forget exactly what he calls it, but it's like the storytelling entropy where you basically have an idea that is really like fundamental to what you want to like it's really narrowed down. Like for example, use the example of like a lightsaber in Star Wars and how it's like just like symbolizes like so much in the Star Wars universe, and then like slowly over time it loses that symbolism when just like everybody starts to have one. Anyway, and he kind of has a lot of examples of that.
Hmm.
What I liked about The Boys is that it really never loses the like entropy. Like it never goes to entropy, right? Like they have this like idea of powers, and they've like really narrowed it down to individualized characters and how they struggle with it and how society has to deal with it, and everything just like keeps on going back to that idea no matter how many different seasons they do, and they always find new and different ways to look at it, but it always goes back to like that like core fundamental like idea that was behind the narrative of The Boys. So anyway, I think that's one reason why um Gen V was really good and why The Boys has stayed really good. So that's my little monologue. Everybody should go
Nice.
watch that YouTube video. It was great.
Nice analysis.
Yeah.
Okay. Next category, best science fiction fantasy book you read this year. Doesn't necessarily need to be published in 2023. And let's try to choose a different one. Like if the best book you read also happened to be the also published in 23, just
Yeah,
choose
I'll
a
go.
different one.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll go. I was gonna pick this for my best book, but most of the series came out before 2023, and that is the Cradle series. I loved it. It's probably my favorite thing I read as a whole in 2023. Just the last book came out in 2023, so I didn't think that was really fair because the last book was not the best book in the series. It was solid, I thought, but like I think the series as a whole is much better than just the last book standalone. So I didn't pick it for my 2023. Just amazing. You guys, if you get the chance, should read it. It's a great series.
Nice. I
read.
Go
I finished all of Joe Abercrombie this year, so I'm gonna say Wisdom of Crowds.
Year of Abercrombie, a dark year,
Yeah.
but a good year.
So good. Like I'm surprised to hear a lot of people didn't like the second trilogy as much as the first, but I thought it
I thought it
was
was so good.
amazing. Yeah, I swear the last book and maybe the last half of the second book should be like required reading or like excerpts of it in like social studies in high school or something. It's so good.
It's almost like
Parents
Ender's
would
Game,
not be
you
happy
know?
Yeah,
about
that's a
that.
great way to get it banned.
Yeah.
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 Well,
No, but I agree, Jake. It is kind of like Ender's Game in that way. Like it kind of just has
yeah.
like such like uh compelling social commentary
Yeah.
that is like backed by a really hard-hitting plot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just great character. Yeah, all
Great
that. It's
characters. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
really looking forward to his next book, The Devils. I think he
Yeah.
wants to have it released next year, but I'm not entirely sure if that's happening or not. But yeah, go
And
ahead,
that's
Ben.
outside the world, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
New
it's
World.
a new series.
Yep.
So I think my favorite one that I read this year was probably It by Stephen King. And just, I can only read like one King book a year because it just like sucks you in and consumes you and just like spits you out on the other end like a changed person in some ways. Um, there's obviously some like glaring flaws with the book, and I think that me and Josh did a review on it, so you can probably go check out that review. One scene in particular that everybody loves to hate, which obviously you should, but it was It was an amazing book. The characters were all amazing, and it's like been. I don't think I've ever read. I don't know. I think that I've read very few books that like manage the found family thing as well as that book did.
Nice.
All right. Well, I was going to pick The Will of the Mini, but Steven said I couldn't because we already have said how awesome that book is. So I'm going to go with my close second, which was Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, which I've also already talked about a little bit. And we have Fantology. Some of us have read the second saga of Red Rising, starting with Iron Gold, which was a little tough for us to get through, and Dark Age, which was amazing. And similar to like, it's like a grimdark science fiction, and Lightbringer just kind of continues that momentum and punches you in the gut a few times, and you're just like, how is this so good, but I feel so bad reading it. And I loved it. I love Darrow. I love a lot of the characters. I hate a lot of the characters because they're so well written. It's got a lot of feels.
See, I'm actually like in the middle. Like I end up bouncing off of Iron Gold, and I want to come back to it, but it was just so many things were going over my head that I wanted to like go back and read a bunch of like catch up on it. Anyway, I plan on doing that when I get some free time. So yeah.
It'll be
Iron
well
Gold
worth
was rough, but I haven't read Lightbringer, but having read Dark Age for the first time this year, it's his best writing up to that point for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, I need to get into more Red Rising. I was planning on it this year, then I heard Lightbringer was not the end of the second saga,
Yeah.
and strangely that demotivated me. I feel like I wanted an end. I didn't want to wait again for book 4, but hearing you guys talk about it makes me think I should just read it. My favorite book this year, other than actually, this is pretty close to The Will of the Many, but I can't make that decision right now. But I'm going to say my favorite was Jade Legacy by Fantology. None of you guys have read The Greenbone, which is still disappointing to me.
No, I've bounced off the first book twice now.
I read the first one.
But I read the trilogy, and I think the books just get better. And in fact, I put the entire trilogy in my top 5 trilogies.
Dang.
So
Entire trilogy.
Yeah, it's really good.
Top 5 series, right? Not just trilogies.
Yeah, sorry.
All time? All time?
Yeah, man. All time.
Wow. Was that the last book in the trilogy?
Yeah.
Are there more books? Oh.
No.
Question: do you consider the two Joe Abercrombie trilogies different trilogies? Like, or do you just consider them all?
I put it in one.
Okay.
I shouldn't have said trilogy. I mean series.
Okay, right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. First Law is also in there.
Should I read those? I have so much on my TBR.
I really like them. I mean, I recommend them, obviously.
All right.
Okay.
Only
All right.
you can answer that question, Jake.
That's true. Very wise words, Ryan. Should we move on to
Best
favorite
character?
Yeah, we have to do
we're
round
low
robin
on,
here.
we are
Okay.
low on time here, but yeah, let's just go best character, any media, just character and a quick reason why.
I'm going Tav, Baldur's Gate 3, because we all got a little bit of Tav in us. So
Okay, I'm going for my
And wait, and
best
when
character.
you say Tav, that is referring to the main character?
that's a custom character you create. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they call the custom character.
That's the default
Okay.
name for the custom character.
Okay. Jake basically just picked himself.
Yeah, right. If I was in a video game, I'd be my favorite character.
All right.
So my favorite is Pennywise. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go with Nomad from The Silent Man. I thought that his character arc was fantastic and probably the highlight of the book and probably the highlight of all the Secret Projects. So it was great.
Okay.
All right. And keeping with my previous pick, I think Lyndon, Wei Linden was he's just such a endearing character. highlight of the series. There's a lot of good characters this year, but Shane Linden just he has a special place in my heart moving forward.
From Cradle.
From
right?
Cradle, yeah,
Yeah.
from Cradle.
Okay.
I'm so torn on this. I can't like I think one of like my favorite character. I mean, it was probably like from the books I read was probably Cassius Albolona, and I can't really go into the specifics of his character arc in the books because it would be major spoilers. So I'm just gonna say a quote that anybody who has read these will recognize.
I like
and
it. Inside
that is,
knowledge.
I am Cassius Albolona, and my honor remains. And sorry, the other character that
So
I was
like the honor
torn
is
with.
dead, but
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait,
Honor,
what is the
honor
quote?
it's honor is dead, but I'll
Okay.
see what I can do, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Stormlight. So the other character that I love the character but hate is Homelander from The Boys. And he is just such a good villain played by such a great actor. It's just like an amazing combination of character, actor, writing, to make just one of the best villains, and like most horrifying to watch. But I feel like I always say this word, very compelling.
I agree. Very compelling. I couldn't choose for this one, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm just gonna give you a few that I liked. Viz from The Will of the Many was awesome. It's a first person book, so obviously you get way into his head, and I thought he was very compelling as well. From Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna go with Shadowheart because Shadowheart, right? And
Is that like a hot chick?
I mean,
Who
she might
isn't
have been
a hot chick
she might have been
in
my
Baldur's Gate
romantic
3?
interest in the game, Josh. But she has a really good story.
Just the way you said
Yeah,
that.
she does.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she does have a good story. It's not just because she's a hot chick.
Honestly,
Sorry,
they all
that's
have
very
pretty good
offensive.
stories.
A
Yeah.
bit.
I'm gonna go with from the Jade books, from the Greenbone books. Emery Andin was my favorite character in that series. You guys don't know, sadly, but maybe one day you will. I really liked Egwene in Wheel of Time season 2. It was not my favorite thing I watched this year, but I did think that they did a really good job with her character. And then I really liked Bast from The Narrow Road Between Desires. I thought his character expansion was fun in that book.
Yeah, that
Guys,
one or Joel from The Last of Us are probably my
Last of
actual picks. But
Yeah.
can I officially change my pick from the best book published?
Yes.
I don't know, man. Jake
I don't.
kind of held you
No,
to it pretty strongly.
No, you don't. I'm just saying, just pick the
Change
one you
it.
think is the best.
Change it.
If you think it's the
Anyway,
best, keep it. If you don't, change it.
Listen, and this is going out to an author that I grew to love this year. So Benedict Jacka published Inheritance of Magic this year, and it was a great book, super good book. I think I'm conflating it too because I read like all of Alex Verus this year, which is also
Right.
like a standout series for me. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I just wanted to give some love.
Yeah, Alex might be a great best character. Him and Lyndon, man. Honestly, after finishing Cradle and Alex Verus, the rest of the year reading for me has just been shot. Like it's been really hard for me to read the second half of this year after reading those two series. They're so good.
It's tough after you get through a really long series and you get really attached.
Yeah, and two, I was bouncing between Cradle and Verus, and they're
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Let us know who your favorite characters, books, movies, whatever. Let us know what all your favorites were for this year. I think we were treated to a lot of good stuff this year. We'll see next year. I mean, there's certainly some things coming down the pipe. There always are. Probably some surprises. I'm a
Hey,
little.
we got the finale to the first Stormlight Archive set.
Yeah, I mean,
Dang.
that's gonna be a big thing for us.
It's probably one of the
I
obviously.
mean, I don't know if Jake
releases.
and Ryan are going to read it, but
I'm thinking of going to Dragonsteel, Ben.
Dude, we're
Ooh.
all going to Dragon's
Dragonsteel 2024.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. I'm
Josh
glad to
will
hear
wear
the
his
commits.
Minus Tech Tips sweater there.
Oh yeah, I got my LT2 sweater.
Is that related to Dragonsteel at all?
No,
It's
it's
just-
just nerdy.
Being a
Okay.
nerd. Just general.
Okay.
People will know that Josh. They won't know he's a nerd at Dragonsteel unless they see the sweater.
Awesome.
All right.
Nice.
See you guys later.
Bye.